I'm Jonny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things. Listen, look, guys, I start sentences like this a lot these days. I've almost become a caricature of myself. But I was out for a run this morning because it was a beautiful morning and I forced myself to.
Yes.
I won't go into the details, but I had to run less than normal because there was a potential Paula Radcliffe situation. However, that's not the reason why I'm bringing this up, Richard.
Thank God.
Yes, I'm bringing this up because I've noticed a renaissance in the crooklock and the disc lock.
Yes.
A real renaissance. I was I was running. That's a great way. I went out for a run this morning in a car. No, I went...
Didn't that happen a few years ago that someone was disqualified from some big marathon or Ironman or something because, then this was sort of for pros or semi-pros, she had to admit that she'd done part of it in a car. Hang on. This sounds like... But then sort of... part of her defence was, oh, shit, I completely forgot that I got into someone's car and they drove me a couple of miles down the course.
And did she go, well, hang on a minute, is that a car? I've heard about these things, but I didn't realise that was what you called a car.
Yeah, because they've always been described to me, but I thought they sort of looked like brown and had four legs. But now I think I'm thinking of a horse. Yes,
I thought it was a shoe, just one big shoe, and it was classed as walking.
Here we go. The headline says: "Leading ultramarathon runner banned for using car."
I didn't know this, but it's just
This is from 2023. A leading British ultramarathon runner has been banned for 12 months by a UK athletics disciplinary panel for using a car during a 50-mile race then accepting the trophy for third place.
What?
Yeah, so Josiah Zakrzewski, I'm so sorry, Polish listeners, I don't know, but I assume that is Polish and I can't pronounce it. Anyway, Josiah. Or Josia. Oh, God, I don't know. Anyway, she admitted she jumped into her friend's vehicle during the 2023 GB Ultras Manchester to Liverpool race, but claimed she only did so after telling marshals she was injured and no longer competing. But she took the trophy!
That doesn't make any sense. That's just a really lame lie.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Do we know what car it was? Not that it's important. She's
no, it is important. And of course, it says no.
Was it something very discreet? It can't have been flashy.
What, you don't think it was like a Lamborghini Jalpa or something? Everyone was like, wow, you don't see those around the house. Hang on a minute. Isn't that that famous ultra runner in the passenger seat?
It was one of those Ligier quadricycles that's very vibratory.
Oh, gosh.
And it feels like you're sonically cleaning your ears when you're driving it.
No, but surely it'd be quicker to run than to
yes,
get one of those. But it says in a letter to the panel, she wrote, "I accept my actions on the day that I did travel in a car and then later completed the run, crossing the finish line and inappropriately receiving a medal and trophy, which I did not return immediately as I should have done."
Well, look.
Sorry, I've completely derailed your story.
No, that's way better than my story. So, as I was running, I was just observing the morning as I would and looking at cars on drives. And I just noticed there's an overwhelming amount of stop locks and disc locks. And I thought, this suddenly feels like we're going back in time to the mechanical anti-theft device, which had sort of been abandoned for a long time. I know Land Rovers and Range Rovers have had this issue because of, Land Rover and Range Rover not really securing their cars properly.
Hang on. Let's just qualify that, possibly for legal reasons, because I've looked into this a little bit and I found no evidence that modern Land Rovers and Range Rovers are more or less secure than any other car. What they are is more attractive to thieves because... Now, I was told this by a couple of people, including an ex-Land Rover dealer. Their parts prices are so high that insurance companies will sometimes balk at the cost of repairing a damaged Range Rover, say, and authorise the use of second-hand parts. to save money.
Right.
So second-hand parts for Range Rovers and Defenders and stuff are very valuable.
I see.
So it is in the thief's interest. It's the same with how BMWs for a while were getting their airbags nicked. Because
and at the moment, Porsches are getting their eyes stolen, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's that thing as well, which is sort of allegedly about growing weed, but has also been disputed anyway. But this is the thing. Do you remember when BMW M3s were getting their mirrors nicked?
Oh, gosh, I do. Yes, which would have been E36s?
I think so, yeah. That was the prime for it. Because they had distinct and unique door mirrors, and people with lesser 3 Series wanted to fit them, but they were very expensive if you went to a BMW dealer and asked to buy some legit. So it's a simple sort of supply and demand thing. The demand is there. Less honest people attempt to meet that demand by nicking. And so it made Range Rovers particularly very attractive, because then you could break them up, which is apparently what happened. It's just because I did look into this a while ago, and it was a bit like, why is Land Rover security so rubbish? And apparently it's not. It's just the cars are attractive for crims.
They're a victim of their own success.
Well, that's sort of it. Victim of their own success. But let's not let Land Rover off the hook here. They're also a victim of their own greed, because, and I know from experience, their parts are very, very expensive. And the labour rates at their dealerships are insane.
That's not fair, especially as you know you're going to use them a lot.
Well, a bigger service on my old Defender, which, let's not forget, has a Ford Transit engine in it, was over £1,000 at one dealership that I tried.
No way.
Obviously,
that's
I
filth.
Didn't go ahead with that. Yeah. Same dealership that did a minor service for about, I think, £600 or something outrageous like that, and tried to charge me extra for filling up the screen wash, even though I know they couldn't have done that because I'd filled it myself to the top the day before.
Hang on a minute. Minor service, 600 sheets, did you say?
I think it was, yeah. At that point, this was probably, the car was relatively new.
That's just Ford Transit oil filter and air filter, and maybe, like a sump plug gasket?
And then try and charge me, I think, £8 for screen wash that it didn't need. Try and fib that perhaps the technician had sucked the old screen wash out and put some new in, which they then walked back from. And then I went and got in the car, and they'd got an oily fingerprint on the light-coloured seat fabric.
Oh, gosh. And you're like...
The Land Rover dealer experience there.
So, I saw these stop locks and disc locks, and for some reason I just thought, this is like the 90s again. And then I started singing The Return to Innocence by Enigma while I was running on my own. But I changed Innocence to disc locks. The Return to disc locks. And I couldn't remember if that song was 90s or early noughties. I think it's on the cusp. Is it?
I thought it was. I'm fairly sure it was 90s.
Let me just check.
It was around the same time as, what's the one that was huge?
It's 1993. It's well into the 90s.
What was that one that was absolutely massive?
By Enigma.
The kick drum is huge. I can't remember what it's called.
Hang on. I bought it on single. I should know. It's got panpipes in it. It's called Sadness.
That's it. Sadness Part 2 or something.
Sadness Part 1, but they spell sadness wrong.
What?
It's Sadness. Sadeness. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, and it came
on
out.
Sleeve?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it came out in Sadness, and it came out in 1990.
Wait. Not Sadness, surely Shardayness.
Shardayness. Oh my gosh!
About Sade?
I flippin' love this song. I know it was a bit panpipey and stuff, but it was quite dreamy, and there was something about it that lured me in as an 11-year-old. I quite liked it. I just started. That was the year I started secondary school. When Sadness came out, Shardayness.
I had no idea that it was spelt with an extra E. Is this because Enigma were from a country where English was not their first language?
I think Enigma were Italian.
A lot of electronic music. Maybe they were sort of tail end of... They were like ex-Italo house producers who decided to go in for that dreaminess.
It's the only song which I'm thinking... It's the only song I've fully accepted electronic panpipes on, I think, but...
Yes.
But hey...
Now, wait, hang on. No, Enigma were German, apparently.
Were they? Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh. So there I am, jogging round this morning at 7:20, admiring everybody's disc and crooklocks, metro stop locks, whatever the hell they were. Singing Return to Innocence by Enigma. But I also saw something else, which is not as interesting, but I'm going to tell you anyway because you're locked into this podcast.
I can't go anywhere.
You remember the other week I was talking about the ham, steamroller?
Yes.
Which I saw on the back of a lorry, which at least one person has messaged me to say, did you get a picture? And I actually did, but I just forgot to put it. So I will put it on our Instagram or something like that.
Yes. Well, I found a library photo of one of these road rollers and put it on our Instagram, on our Patreon, sorry. So patrons have seen this.
It has a pretty rear light cluster, does it not?
Sorry to go back to Shardiness by Enigma, but the excellent and very chunky rhythm track is a sample from Keep On Moving by Soul to Soul.
Oh, of course it is.
Which explains why it's so good, because that era of Soul to Soul and Back to Life, I don't know what drum machines they were using, but they'd always got a really absolutely brilliant, heavy kick drum sound out of whatever.
Yeah, it's very clean.
So, very clean, yes.
Clean and tight sound. So,
tight, it's tight, yes.
Tight.
Okay.
So I saw the ham the other week. Well, as I was running round the bit at the end of town where it gets close to the A1, and this is sort of rush hour nearly now, I saw a thing that was holding up the traffic, frankly, and it was a BOMAG. And this BOMAG was another kind of roller, but it looked like it had thick rubber wheels, multiple front wheels and multiple back wheels, maybe 6 or 8 in a big cylinder. And the guy was sitting really high up, and it was going around a corner to join the A1. I really hope he didn't join the A1 because he was joining the A1 at about 12 miles an hour. But what really threw me, and actually made me laugh to the point where it totally threw me off my run, I had to go walk for a while, was the fact that he was driving it totally side saddle. It was all of the controls were 90 degrees to the front of the BOMAG. So it just looked like he was doing one of these posh horse riding type exercises. Just choosing
going for a trot on my road.
Yeah, just a really casual drive with both legs over one side. And the seat was actually 90 degrees. And then I thought to myself, BOMAG, what a great name. And then I thought to myself, ooh, BOMAG and Ham. She was an innocent immigrant detective driven to change the ill culture in town. He was a slight alcoholic who'd never been seen out of flammable pants. He had a nose for crime. She was tough as something. Together they were BOMAG and Ham. BOMAG and Ham. BOMAG and Ham is definitely a police issue revolver era cop series.
Yes, it is. But try this on for size. It's also an artisanal cafe in East London. A lot of sourdough.
BOMAG and Ham.
Quite elaborate coffees that you've never heard of before. Really? What's a smooth brown? Oh, you've got to try one.
Yeah, free dog ice cream if you spend over 20 quid.
Oh, a dog ice cream up the yin yang, because yes. And
so artisanal.
There's a guy in the window with an asymmetric hairstyle, and you can't help noticing that he's got a cat. And you can't tell if he's brought it with him or if it lives in the cafe. You start to suspect he brought it with him. But how?
A cat scarf. Yeah, how do you do that without the cat freaking right out and clawing the shit out of your neck?
I don't know. Maybe the cat sits on his shoulder like a parrot.
Oh,
He's
gosh.
a sort of Hoxton pirate. Anyway, where were we?
Well,
I don't know.
So, yeah, the BOMAG and Ham. The crime fighters you never knew about.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Which I thought was fantastic. But this is not the end of my steamroller week, Rich.
Why would it be?
Because in the last 7 days, I had to go to Silverstone to do an auction preview film for the Late Break Show. I didn't sadly go to the actual festival. I have been before, and it's great. And I did get some FOMO from not being there. But the day I went, there was lots of testing on the track, quite a lot of track work taking place. And as I left the day's filming, I was running a bit late. Got into the bargain boxer because that's what I turned up in. Guess what I got stuck behind? Going through the massive infield that is Silverstone.
Was it a ham?
No, it was a fucking steamroller, like an old-fashioned steamroller from the 1880s. I don't know what it would have been. You know, like an actual steam rally steamroller that's running on steam.
Yeah. I think we've established the steam elements of this. Was it all sort of like vibrantly painted? One of those with a roof canopy thing? Yeah.
Yes, it had a roof canopy. It had some lights on it. And there were two geezers on one on the side saddle, one behind the wheel. And I was like, what is that doing at the Silverstone infield? I've seen loads of sports cars and exotics today. I did not think I'd get stuck behind an actual steamroller. But I thought to myself, well, maybe Silverstone's, welcoming the wrong uns at some point just to be more inclusive. I'm not sure. Who knows?
Can I change the subject? But don't worry, it's not strictly about cars. And
yeah, be careful.
I apologise in advance because this is a slight return to the subject of Julio Iglesias.
Oh, I thought you were going to say return to innocence. I was going to say we've not gone far, have
we? Julio Iglesias was the subject of slightly too much of a recent podcast.
Yeah.
And you brought up the fact that as a young man, Julio was in a car accident. And this was a pivotal point in his life and, by extension, his career. But we couldn't find out what car he was driving.
No, that's right. Oh, gosh, you found out. You sleuth.
Yeah. A listener called Andy Enright. Andy is a car journalist who now lives out in Australia. Hello, Andy.
Hi.
So I assume it's the same Andy Enright. I'm just actually filling in a gap that may not be there, but I'm pretty sure it's the same chap. Anyway, hi, Andy. Whoever you are, he has unearthed some information, which he's got, he says, from the book In His Eyes, the Julio Iglesias Jr. story.
What?
He's attached a screen grab of the relevant page in this book. It says, after piling into Julio's car, the four guys decided to test the limits of Julio's new Renault Dauphin.
Oh.
Exceeding 100 miles per hour, the car raced ahead in the still of the night. I'm going to say this book's slightly overwritten, but just based on that sentence. Everything was going smoothly until Julio neared a dangerous curve in the road. It was then that he lost control of the car and skidded off the road. Shaken but not visibly injured, the four friends, three of whom had been thrown from the car, recovered their senses and walked into town for help. All of them had minor injuries and sore muscles, but the only thought on their minds was that they were glad to be alive.
What, meanwhile, Julio was still in the car shouting, please help me? Or did Julio get
that? Yeah, beautiful tone on the help.
And that's when he realised he had a really good voice. Because of that. So that's a rear-engined Renault, isn't it?
Yes.
Right, so do you think he had a bit of a Iglesias understeer going on there?
Iglesias-steer.
We've had some minor bollockings about talking about Julio Iglesias.
Yeah, I just want to... Look, this is closure. We've found out. Thank you, Andy, for tipping us off on this. It's brilliant. Great research. I hope you didn't buy that book, especially. That's it. We know now. We know. So we can move on. And I wanted to move on to something that is actually car relevant, because for ages we've joked about the Nissan GTR being 117 years old.
Yes.
And it went off sale in, I think everywhere except Japan.
Was it pre-COVID or...
I don't think so, but no. I mean, I don't know how many they were actually importing. Look this up. So it was only on sale in Japan. They'd announced a while back they could not take any more orders. That was it. All the orders were in. They were only going to keep making it for a while, and they were only going to make a certain number of cars. And they were all spoken for. But it was never quite clear if production had ended already or not. And, it's Nissan's business. They don't have to tell people. But last week, they announced that production had in fact ended, and there was a picture of the last car coming off the line. So this is it now. Pour one out for the Nissan GTR.
So do you know why they said, look, we just can't take any more orders for it? They didn't say we're ending it or anything like that. They were quite vague with their terminology. It's because the workforce who built the GTR all average about 93 years old. So they're just getting incredibly decrepit. And they forget. Yeah, they're worried about quality control because they're sort of like, oh, I forgot whether I put that extra valve in the engine. Oh,
yeah.
Did I?
Because they're just very tired.
Yes, everyone's tired. Everyone is tired.
Now, the engines for the GTR, there's lots of amazing facts. I'm going to give another plug to Copacetic, the magazine that's only on its second issue, has only started this year. But I've written a look at the Nissan Hyperforce concept for issue 2 of Copacetic, which is out now. And this segues into a eulogy for the R35 GTR. And I dug out my old notes from when I went on the American launch of the GTR. And some of the stats and the facts about how the engine is mounted at rest, canted slightly forwards, so that under acceleration, the torque reaction cants it backwards. And at that point, it forms a perfect straight line with the prop shaft to minimise friction. Stuff like that. It's mind-boggling. I've put all of this into the Copacetic story. But one of the things I'd forgotten is that only 9 people were ever allowed to assemble the engines.
I remember this at the press launch. I remember them talking in detail about the sort of artisanal properties of the... I think they were going down the AMG type of route. And saying how slowly, how much time was laboured over the process, and thus why it was going to be so strong and dependable.
I think Nissan's press release about the end of production sort of accidentally allowed you to infer that it was the same 9 people over the whole life of the car, and I'm not sure that's true.
Oh, yeah.
I think the point is that at any one time in the GTR's life, there were only 9 people allowed to assemble the engines for it, which is, it's pretty small team considering that it wasn't like a 1 a week kind of car. So but anyway, that's it. Pour one out for the GTR. It has finally ended production after 18 years. Well, not 118 as we said at some point.
We going back to Julio Iglesias ever so briefly. No, only briefly to apologise to a couple of listeners. Jonathan Wagner off of Florida in America. He just wrote to us and said, thanks for getting the focus of the conversation back onto cars a bit after jumping the shark with all that Julio Iglesias talk. Show seems much more focused and interesting to me now, but then again, I'm from Florida. Jonathan. So sorry about going a bit Julio spec. Really, I don't know why we talked about it for so long, but we promise we won't.
I don't know either. We're in sort of a rock and a hard place, though, because when we did a show that was very car chatty, we've had a few people going, oh, good, thank goodness you're not wanging on about a Spanish singer for once. But then we had quite a few people going, steady on, lads. Last week was a bit more Bobbins related, and people going, oh, phew, back to normal. So, it's hard to know how to pitch this, really. It's sort of...
I don't know what our path is, Rich.
No, I was going to say also, I need to follow up on this, but friend O the show, Brendan McAleer, another car journalist in Canada, said to me on Blue Sky the other day that with some not inconsiderable effort, he was able to secure an interview with one of the engine builders for the GTR.
Oh.
He rides a Kawasaki.
Really?
That's all the info I have, but I'll ask Brendan if he has more to share.
We should.
I seem to remember the engines also were built in a sort of hermetically sealed room so that there can be no dust particles, things like that, because all the tolerances are very, very, very fine.
I just love the whole bloody thing. But I especially love, I've said it before, the way that they quite sternly and smugly said during the extensive press launch that the engine will not be modifiable in any shape or form. And I don't know, it almost felt like within 4 days of the car going on sale, somebody went, 1,000 horsepower, done it. Easy.
I tried to find out, but ran out of time for my copacetic story, how long it took for somebody to tune a GTR. But I couldn't find a definitive answer. It was definitely not long.
No.
And it's amazing how much extra power people very quickly got out of that car without doing anything fundamental to the engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was. I think Nissan knew. Looking back at some of the sort of contemporary reports and press releases, I sort of got the feeling what they were trying to say was, you won't need to tune this car. It's good enough and fast enough, and we've put a lot of effort in. So, don't start thinking you need to fiddle with it. But of course, that people do.
So, going back to Silverstone Festival, lots of interesting things, to lots of interesting eye candy. But because I was there for work purposes and I couldn't get to see all the racing stuff, but parked in the one of the paddock areas with the race cars, and had the joy of seeing a Furves Ranger. That strange little short wheelbase, looks like an amphibious mini moke, but it's based on a Fiat 850 or a Fiat 500. Yellow, no roof, kind of a Dr. Evil vibe to it. Very rare. There's one of those being used as a pit car for a team racing a Ford Mustang. It might have been Alan Mann Ford Mustang, actually. I think it was red and gold, which was great. And the other thing, amongst all the other cars in the auction, the iconic auction which I was reporting on, guess what? I saw some guys coming in to empty the bins. And they were in an immaculate, and I mean immaculate, I actually cooed at it, Fiat fullback pickup truck.
Oh, someone's got the fullback.
Someone's got the fullback. They've got to be, in the not too distant future, one of the rarest pickup trucks of all time. They've got to be.
I mean, they're almost like a sort of nearly new rare, but nobody cares.
Yeah.
Surely nobody gives a monkey's toss about this. They're just like, what are they? You just go buy the Mitsubishi.
I know, right? That's the thing.
Well, it's best not to worry about it too much. Could I just very quickly do a little... Okay.
No.
I was just going to do another little callback to last week and whenever we first mentioned this unusual... it was just a question from the audience at our Pistonhead's annual service show, wasn't it, about unusual student cars. We've had loads of these.
I know. I've been getting DMs about those and all sorts, and... It's
one of those ones where it's like it's quite hard to keep track. So I've sort of almost randomly just pulled out the first ones I could find, including as someone called themselves JF, who's one of our patrons. Says, around the turn of the millennium, I was a graphic design student in Bristol and earned a bit of cash selling booze in an off-licence. One of my colleagues was a girl whose name I can't remember, but her housemate and fellow student dropped me home one night in his Lancia Delta Integrale.
What the hell?
I have no idea what insurance must have been for a left-hand drive Lancia in Bristol, but I suspect it was more than my annual student fees. That's a
nearly new car in Bristol right now.
Well, it's wildly futuristic because it's got a clock standard, yeah.
Wildly futuristic.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
The chap, now again, I'm going to mangle a name. I'm going to say Dejan, so Dejan or Dejan. He's in Slovenia.
Okay.
So I'm going to say there's a soft J there, so Dejan.
Yeah.
Sorry, please do write in and say it's pronounced like this, you absolute dickwit. Anyway, he says, I was a student in the late 90s, and the car park at my university was full of European cars, Renaults 4 and 5, old BMWs, some old Mercs, many Zastava 101 and Zastava Yugos. But there was also a Dodge Charger, like the General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard, but lime green with a black vinyl roof, on stock 13 or 14-inch steel wheels with big tyres. I don't remember what motor it had, but we all knew the owner. He was the son of a big car dealer, and because the noise when he started the V8 could be heard all through the car park.
That's amazing. A Dodge Charger as a student car.
In the late 90s as well.
Yeah, bloody hell. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know what to say to that.
No, there's another listener. We've sort of gone now. This is like overseas university craziness. This edition. We had another message from a listener, Martin, who's in the Netherlands. He says, the father of my aunt by marriage made his fortune not in finance, oil or pharmaceuticals, but in sewer cleaning. Apparently, there is serious money in shifting other people's waste. He spent the 90s living the good life in Aruba, where his runabout was a Porsche 968 Cabrio in a suitably breezy colour.
Oh, wow.
Breezy colour, that's very good.
Wow.
But he also kept a little something in Holland for the rare occasions he flew back.
A little something in Holland?
A little something in Holland, just a little something. In this case, the little something was a BMW 850 Ci.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
A little something, that's a bit overkill for Holland.
Isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I might need it in case I need to get up a hill. Okay. It's sat tucked away in the naturalist is writing and go, we do have hills, actually. Martin says, it's sat tucked away in the garage most of the year, like a forgotten Swiss watch, only to be taken out when he fancied a splash of the Autobahn. But here's the twist. When the daughters from his second marriage, an eye-catching pair of blonde twins, went off to university, their student wheels weren't the usual battered Micra or mouldy Polo. No, they wafted to lectures in Dad's V12 Grand Tourer. A pair of 20-year-olds casually turning up in an 8 Series coupe. You can imagine the stir it caused in the university car park.
Bloody hell,
yes.
V12. The rationale here is just so out of whack.
Yes.
We've got a friend of the show who actually works in the car industry, and I'll just call him Alistair, or he might prefer to be called the wee Jackie Scorpio enthusiast. He sent me a message saying, "Hey, I had a mate at school. This is around 2001, who was Bulgarian." Certainly the son of Eastern European heavy industry, possibly and/or organised crime, I don't know. I remember he had a brand spanking new BMW E46 M3 SMG, gunmetal 18s, and that cinnamon leather on the launch cars. Sweet, sweet car. As well as his car, I remember this individual was also a popular member of the school community for selling Eastern European grot DVDs from a plain black hold-all bag.
Sorry, a plain black. Did you say plain black old bag?
Plain black hold-all bag.
Oh, hold-all.
Hold-all. You know, like a cylindrical...
Old. Yes, yes, no, I know what...
Cylindrical bag.
Yeah, sorry, I thought...
You're a cylindrical bag.
Yeah. Cylindrical bag.
Seriously. Oh, gosh.
One more Euro spec unusual uni car from Rodrigue. He said, I was listening to the most recent podcast, you're discussing ridiculous student cars. It made me think back to 2011 when I was studying at the University of Antwerp in Belgium. During the exam period, there was a girl who would show up driving a matte pink Maserati Gran Cabrio. I was so surprised I even took a picture of it, a low-quality photo taken with an ancient iPhone. It was 2011. And sure enough, there is a very pink Mazda, which would have been new at that point as well.
Yeah, it would have been. Would that have been an early vinyl wrap era or actual paint?
I guess so. Yeah, matte as well. So I don't know, but that's full. That's like legally blonde spec, basically.
Yeah.
One last one of these, which is back in the UK, but I think you'll like, because it feels like it lends itself to 60s, man, even though this is actually from the 80s. This is a listener called Tim, says, I was at Cambridge in the 80s. In general, student cars were banned, though a friend of mine kept his Fiesta round the corner from our college, and a friend of his at one of the more traditional colleges flouted the ban by keeping, not far from the centre of town, his ancient Alvis.
No way.
It was in fairly ropey condition, but was a runner most of the time. I had a lift in it a few times and recall the incompleteness of the interior in particular, as well as the time we had to get out and walk when it wouldn't start. I'm pretty sure it was 4 doors, so I suppose it was most likely a 3-litre from the 1950s.
Now, this is a very interesting subject, and the reason for that, because I was going to bring up the subject of 60s person. The reason for that is because I've had a few people saying, please, would you do some more 1960s related conversation? You see, there's a problem. I don't know actually what to say. So I'd like to invite people to write to us with maybe some text of the period, correct text, or maybe something that's completely fabricated and is utter bollocks. The choice is yours, but please send it to us at the usual email address, hello@smithandsniff.com, isn't it? Yes. I found something out about woodpeckers this week, and also about the Kardashians.
Okay.
I think it might be the only interesting thing about the Kardashians to me, and it's about one of, and unfortunately I've already forgotten which Kardashian it is.
They all start with a K, don't they?
They all start with a K. I think
Kim,
is it Chloe,
Kit Kat,
Kylie,
Knackerbag. Kylie, yes, but Kylie is not a Kardashian, isn't she? A Jenner.
Oh bollocks! I don't know.
I can't
think about Knackerbag Kardashian. It sounds like a fantastic.
It's a silent K, isn't it? Maybe have to be Knackerbag.
Amazing country and western singer. I've seen them at South by Southwest.
Oh, actually, no. Knackerbag would be like who's that guy? Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh yes. Knackerbag
lots
Kardashian.
of tats in places that look like they hurt, and he's a rival to Machine Gun Kelly, Knackerbag Kardashian. I can't hear the surname Kardashian without thinking that the brilliant Joel McHale on The Soup, if anyone remembers that fantastic TV show, he always used to call them the Kardashians for some reason.
Kardashians.
And it's stuck. I just always Kim Kardashian. Anyway, sorry, go on. Yes, what, Woodpecker and Kardashian.
So I'll come on to the woodpecker because that's the interesting bit.
Okay.
They're not related to the Kardashians. One of the Kardashians shared a picture on Instagram that was thrown under our noses. One of them's bought a P38 Range Rover.
Oh, I saw you put this on our Instagram. Yes?
I did. I shared it on a story because I was like, "What? What's going on here?"
I think it is one of the sort of, what do you call them? Second batch Kardashians.
So hang on, it's
Kylie
Kendall
Jenner
it's Kendall Jenner. Yes, they've got a
Jenner Range Rover
on their Instagram. There's a picture, and it's actually quite badly cropped. A rear 3/4 of a green P38, and it says happiness. That's the only word.
Well, she's clearly just got it and has yet to experience any massive electrical faults.
Well, quite. The suspension looks at the normal height. There's no aftermarket wheels. The towing eye is intact.
But this totally makes sense to me because we are now deeply into an era where people of a certain age are really into 80s and 90s cars. I mean, we saw it at Festival of the Exceptional. But so I don't know how old Kendall Mintcake is, but she's clearly of that sort of generation. Now, the Kardashian family in general seem to like a Range Rover.
Yeah.
What could be better for a young woman at the sort of on the cutting edge of fashion than to get an amazing retro Range Rover?
That's right.
A 90s retro one.
I kind of like it because I've not. I know that the P38 it was going to happen at some point, but the fact that someone I could just be a bit snobby and snooty about this and just say she doesn't interest me. Well, she doesn't particularly interest me. However, the fact that she could pretty much buy any car in the world, probably, and she's chosen to hang around that and broadcast that interests me. I like that. I think, okay, that's kind of cool.
I've found another picture of, I believe this is Kendall Jenner, though I'm not 100% on what she looks like all the time, but I think this must be a photo shoot. It's definitely a photo shoot because it's really nicely done, but she's posing next to a metallic brown Range Rover Classic.
Oh, okay.
I think it's an LSE.
Okay.
And but I assume that's a photo shoot rather than her car. I don't know. Maybe she's a retro. She's an old Range Rover collector.
She is. Maybe her and the aforementioned Scooter chap that talks over heavy trance tracks. I think he likes his classic Ranges as well, doesn't he?
He likes British cars generally. Yeah, I think he's. We had a message about him, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It turns out he's interesting. which is great.
Wait a sec. I've also, just as a picture here, this is a picture of Kendall Jenner in an 80s Land Cruiser in that sort of beige colour with brown and orange side stripes.
Oh, wow. She's got good car taste, she has.
I know.
Hasn't she?
But this is all
great.
very sort of cool retro stuff, but tasteful.
Yeah. Do you know what it is, though? It's going back to the era when SUVs were just starting, I think, to get luxurious. It's an era. I've just driven a car yesterday, which and filmed it for the Late Break Show. One of those brand new old Land Cruisers, and
really?
It's a reminder. Yeah, it's a reminder of one of those Land Cruisers where you still have rubber seals around the windows and largely flat windscreen, and it's all very 80s and mechanical and extremely capable off-road, but it feels kind of classy without trying to push the luxury too hard. And I like that era.
Jonny, I don't want to get you too excited, but there's another photo here of Kendall Jenner driving her 1969 Chevrolet Camaro SS convertible.
Piss off. Okay. All right. Well, me and Kendall have got... We could actually exchange words then.
I feel like you might have something to talk about. Yeah. She's... Oh, and then there's another photo of her here with... a Ferrari, what is that? God, I find it terrible difficult to tell these new Ferraris apart.
SPF 30?
SPF 90. But, and you will like this because I know that you like brown cars, it's brown. It almost looks like Porsche Macadamia, something similar.
Really? So in quite a new Ferrari?
Yeah, she's got a brown Ferrari SF90. She looks like she's got a 59... Oh, actually, no, I think it's a 60.
60?
Cadillac Eldorado Cabrio.
Oh, gosh. I wonder if these are hers. Any of these are hers.
Well, I mean, why would they not be? She's very well off, and I think she likes cool cars. I mean, there's a picture here. I don't know. I mean, all this is posed, isn't it, in some way or other, but there's a picture of her filling up the Cadillac with petrol. It's not like it's on a photo shoot or something. It's just normal stuff. I think we have to add... Kendall Jenner to our guest waiver list because I feel like she's got...
she can chat cars, yeah.
She's got some stuff to discuss.
This is
Another
great.
Photo here of an Audi R8. Jesus.
This is great. Well, there we go, Kendall.
Good, isn't it?
I wonder if she owns that oil company, Kendall Oil, which is supposed to be good oil. I wonder if she's affiliated with that. What?
I've never heard of that, and I don't know what you mean, but... Yeah.
So we've done that. We've ticked the Kendall Jenner P38
Okay,
box.
Woodpeckers.
Okay, Woodpeckers. Not related to motoring at all, although I guess it's a form of suspension. I got told the other day, how woodpeckers avoid head injury when they're pecking. So I've delved into the BBC website. Slow motion footage reveals... how woodpeckers avoid injuries on their brains as they peck. Their heads move at 6 milliseconds, or 6 meters per second. 20 feet per second at each peck during a deceleration more than 1,000 times that of gravity. But they've realised that what they do is they manage to wrap their own tongue around their skull to use as a sort of seat belt cum shock absorber. I did not know this until last week.
I saw this on a TV thing.
Incredible.
Yeah, the tongue hooks up into the back of their skull, doesn't it? And it's like a brain shock absorber.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah, a highly developed bone called the hyoid, which in humans is just above the Adam's apple, has been studied, starting at the underside of the bird's beaks, and it makes a full loop through their nostrils, under and around the back of their skulls, over the top and meeting again before the forehead. And the birds have a little subdural space between their brains and their skulls, so the brain does not have room to bump around as it does in us, humans. And their brains are longer top to bottom than front to back, meaning the force against the skull is spread over a larger brain area. Well, I never...
that's because if you tried that, you'd go it's like you don't want your tongue to go back into your head, but how clever they are.
If you tried that, you go, do you know what? I'll just go to the Mini Morrison's around the corner and get a pack of raisins.
I've just remembered I've got a hammer action drill. I'll probably use that to make a hole in the screw rather than trying to use my face because it's making my brain hurt. Anyway.
We're such twats. Well, we're talking about...
I know, we are. We were talking off the show the other day about someone we know who sort of buys a lot of cars. And you coined a brilliant term that I've never really thought about before, but the phenomenon of the catch and release car buyer.
Oh, of course, yeah. I nearly forgot about this. Yes, the catch and release. So I'm convinced I think it seems to be more of a male thing in the car world, but I could be totally wrong. It's the hunter-gatherer that's innately within us of the must find the next rare thing, must chase the bargain car. But when you've got it, sometimes the thrill ceases and you go, oh, I've got it now. Do I want to use it? Do I want to rebuild it? Do I want to MOT it or do the wheel bearing? Don't know, really.
I'll just sell it.
Yeah, I just put it on Facebook Marketplace again.
That is the thing, isn't it? It's sort of the thrill of the chase.
There's a huge thrill of the chase.
I was just telling you this before we started recording, wasn't I? But I'm in a bit of a dilemma because I've sort of been offered a car that I would really like, but I absolutely do not need. And I have bought 2 cars this year already, which is not necessary. But
no, Richard,
it's the thrill of, in this case, something sort of landing in your lap a little bit and going, well, I'd be silly to turn this down, this thing I absolutely do not need. But I think for some people it's the chase, or it's just the, because I'm terrible for this. I suppose I could be worse. That I just get a craving for a car.
Tell me about it.
The Panda 100 horsepower is a great case in point. I was like, I won't rest until I've got one of those, but then I sort of foolishly bought a cheap one to try and make the feeling go away. But some people just give in to those urges, don't they? But as soon as they've got it, they go, I've got one now. And they start. I tell you who's like that a little bit, or certainly used to be, is TV's Richard Hammond.
Really? Is he a big catch and release guy?
He is a catch and release. I've never really thought about it, but that is the way to describe him. Once, a few years ago, he was offered an absolutely immaculate Citroen Saxo VTS.
Oh, there was one at the auction, at the classic car auction at Silverstone, and we packed up filming it before I'd seen it, and I was really annoyed because I thought that's actually very, very hard to find that car. Very hard.
This one was tidy as anything. And I think I was thinking, we were making the Grand Tour at the time, so he was in the office, and I think he showed us some pictures on his phone and went, someone's offered me this Saxo VTS, and it's someone I know and I trust, and he says it's good, and I believe him, and it's just like, I've got to get it, haven't I? And we were like, yeah, you have got to get it. And so he did, and he bought it because it wasn't mega money. And then he came to the office a couple of times, and we all went, oh, look at that, that's brilliant. He was like, yeah, it's great. And then the next thing, I was like, how's the Saxo? And he went, oh, sold it. And he's just like, oh, I didn't really need it. I just sort of wanted it. But, it's like, I've got too many cars as it is. So then he just let it go, catch and release.
Absolute catch and release. It's there's no river monsters innuendo here. It's just the thrill of the automotive chase, but you never entirely know whether the keeping it is going to be as alluring or the mending it is going to be as attractive as I'm just going to run after it, I'm going to do a deal, I'm going to get on the train and fetch it, or do an early morning sprint down to get it with a friend, or whatever it might be. It's totally catch and release. You know what, Rich? Yeah. I've got to get rid of a car or two soon. And I've got to be quite rational.
Oh.
But the problem is the catch and release within me doing the job that I do. I've done a barn find day before yesterday. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but it was small and Japanese, and it was absolutely time warp beautiful. Now it's not for sale. It's staying in the same family as it's always been. But pinned onto the wall in the garage were other little Japanese cars that this family had owned, and the original owner, the late dad, was absolutely fastidious. He was a retired detective in the C11 squad in Scotland Yard, I think. So he was all about pinning things on boards because he was an old school detective, pre-computers.
Yeah.
So he had brochures pinned on the wall in the garage with like asterisks and things that he definitely would want, things that he definitely didn't want, and they'd owned, prior to the thing in the garage, a Honda Z Coupe.
Oh,
the little orange, beautiful little thing that was only available in orange. And I kept looking at the poster all day. It was only available in orange, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah. And it was pinned on the wall, and all day we were chatting about it because the lovely guys who were the family of the barn fan, they said, oh, yeah, like he had one of those. He bought it when it was about a year old, then sold it to get a first-generation Civic, and then sold the first-gen Civic to get the car that's in the garage now. So he really loved small Japanese things. And I looked at this all day, pinned on the wall. You can hear it. It's in my hand. They actually took it off the pinboard and went, "No, you should have this." And it is an original Honda UK brochure from Power Road, Chiswick, London.
Yes.
And it's got the full spec on the back of the Z600. And of course, having owned a fair amount of Hondas and still own a couple, I'm just going, I want a Z Coupe. I really want, and I love orange anyway, and I love small cars that are quite nattily designed. I just want one. So I've started looking for one. It's like, no, you've got to get rid of some cars. There's a Honda I need to sell, unfortunately. But why am I looking for one? It's the catch and release in me.
It is. But in fairness, buying interesting cars is arguably part of your job because you have a successful YouTube channel.
It's true. I mean, I wouldn't say it's true. Yes, it's successful. I mean, it's fairly successful. I don't mean to say that. Hi, I'm self-congratulatory guy.
No, don't do yourself down. It is. So it's like, because I was thinking this the other day. When was this? Last week or the week before? I saw a very cheap Jaguar I-Pace for sale. In fact, I sent it to you, and you willfully ignored me, and I realised that you didn't want that.
Absolute bargains right now. Absolute bargains.
It did seem so, didn't it? And I was like, now, if I had my own YouTube channel in which I shouted guys a lot, but also relied on the churn of cars and buying stuff that people are going to go, this is going to go badly, I would be all over that I-Pace because genuinely as well, just interested to think, well, what is the worst that could happen? You know, it's a good car. I had an I-Pace. And
you did?
I thought it was an excellent car. It gave me no trouble. Granted, it was new. Had it for a couple of years, and it was really good. But this one was sort of like, what, 8 and a bit grand?
My gosh, is that all?
I'm just seeing if it's still for sale. It is not. So,
But sub 10k executive EVs like that, and the I-Pace was one of the best Jags in a long, long time. There's so much effort put into that car.
Yeah.
I really liked it and went to
they're
the factory.
Really, really nice to drive and actually very useful, loads of room in it. And it's there's a certain little detail things lets it down, like the earlier ones, like that very laggy infotainment system. It's okay, but it wasn't state of the art by any means. I think the later ones have got the better system. And but if some of those early cars do have a battery problem, which Jaguar is buying back affected models because there's a fire risk for the batteries. LG supplied the batteries and sounds like they screwed it up. So, which
is rare because LG were for a long time the best battery chemistry people. I don't know if they are considered to be.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue precisely is with these, but yes, the affected cars were given us over-the-air software update which restricted charging to try and mitigate the problem. But ultimately, if you want to, Jaguar would make you an offer on your car. And there's actually a picture somewhere online I've seen of a rack, scrapyards that have racks, a rack of I-Paces that have been part of the buyback scheme.
Bloody hell.
Going to be squashed. So
I think they'd make a great car for 8 or 9 grand. Bloody hell.
Yeah, I cannot... This car doesn't seem to be for sale anymore, so I'm going to say that it's sold. Perhaps I shouldn't have drawn attention to it on social media.
No, you shouldn't.
Anyway, if I was at Influencer and I wanted something to talk about, then I would have.
I got to mention two quick things about the Silverstone Festival. I forgot to mention two observations. One of them, despite the fact the paddock was full of very cool race cars, I couldn't help noticing the frequency of busy and modified K-trucks that were being used to tow trailers full of slick tyres and other odds and sods.
Of course, yes.
And they're really popular, and it's great to see. There's a lot of one-upmanship, you can tell. Some of them had like megaphone exhaust. Some of them had kind of like slightly bad boy eyebrows on over the headlights.
Yes.
They're really neat. They beat a golf cart any day.
Years ago now, at Le Mans, the Audi team were using a Honda Acti. Quite an old one as well.
Yes.
But it was completely standard, except they'd stuck an Audi badge on the front.
Oh, had they?
But otherwise, yeah, I've got a picture of some. I'll try and dig it out for our Patreon. But yeah, no, they are. They're cool for little duties like that, I guess, aren't they?
And the other thing that I saw off of the Silverstone Festival, this is just as I was leaving before I got stuck behind the Steam Rally Wrong'un, which I did capture on camera because we're on private property. I saw a huge American RV motorhome, okay, and continuing everyone's favourite game of the summer. This one was called the Cyclone. And I thought to myself, if you said, were you all right the other night after that curry? And I just said, look, I won't go into details, but let's just say anal cyclone. I think that's all you need to know. I couldn't stop giggling. I was giggling about the anal cyclone for ages and ages and ages. So thanks to whoever parked their cyclone at Silverstone Festival. And thanks to everyone that keeps sending in motorhome imagery.
It's the gift
playing
that
the
keeps
game.
on giving. Yes.
Yeah, tag us in. Tag us into stories on Instagram because we'll share these things if they're funny, which they usually are because you guys are funnier than we are. So
it's true. Okay, well, that seems like an appropriate note on which to wrap things up before we go. I've got three things to tell you. The first is that Jonny's got a new project. He's planning to open a restaurant, and the gimmick here is that complimentary beverages will be dispensed by the former lead singer of Marillion, who comes around to refill your glass from a jug he's literally just topped up from the tap under the working title Freshwater Fish. If that's not to your taste, then of course there's the Late Break Show. It's happened now, hasn't it? The Silverstone auction has gone.
The Silverstone auction's gone, yeah.
But what else have you got for us?
This latest one is from, if my memory serves me correct, this is a barn find, actual in a barn, a Saab. I think it's my first Saab barn find. Pretty much a one lady owner Saab 96, and I have to say this car was in such delightful condition. It was a real joy of a day, and and there was some other trinkets lying around the farm as well that we were snaffling upon. So go and have a look at that. I think this week I filmed my 71st barn find, or 72nd. I'm not very good at maths. But it's a lot anyway, a lot of the barn finds. And before we sign off, I must say I'm selling a vintage ride-on mower. So I've decided I can't. I've got to keep catching, releasing. I can't keep these things.
Yeah.
So
you're in release mode, aren't you?
I'm trying to be because I'm moving house soon, and
I'm worried I'm in catch mode and it's not good.
I love it. I like living through you when you're in catch mode because it makes me feel better, although I keep getting offered things relentlessly. But
this is the problem, isn't it? You create your own problem by you create your own situation, your own destiny. But anyway, look, that's all smashing. If you want a ride-on mower, I don't know. Are you going to put some stuff on our Instagram?
Yeah, I might do. It's a British Anzani lawn rider. I'm just going to put it out there. There's not a cooler ride-on mower, but there's probably not a more lethal ride-on lawn mower either from the 60s.
That's a negative lawn rider. Okay, so second thing I've got to tell you is I mentioned couple of weeks ago that we were on the Waymo channel watching cars leaving Festival of the Unexceptional. We went and sat down with Charlie from Waymo and watched cars leaving Pistonhead's annual service, and that went live last week. So go and seek that out. It's over an hour, I think, isn't it, of us just bobbins. And I'm working the main camera that's catching the cars going by in a very shoddy way, because I thought the bits where I reset the camera would be cut out, but they do split screen now. So if you want to feel a bit seasick, go and watch that. And the third thing I've got to tell you is Biddy Baxter, the legendary boss of Blue Peter, died last month. You might have seen. But what you might not know is that the very first Blue Peter dog, Petra, who has a statue in her honour in the grounds of the former television centre, was actually a fake.
What, the statue or the dog?
Well, the dog, Biddy Baxter, admitted this a few years later. But basically, the programme got its first dog. Hey, kids, we've got a dog. Yay.
It didn't get run over the day after.
No, it was ill, and it died 2 days after it had been on TV. So rather than make a thing of it and upset children, they just went and got a lookalike puppy and went, here she is, yay, and that was it. But actually, Petra was the second Petra.
Oh, my God.
Sorry if that spoilt anyone's childhood, but, it's...
is Blue Peter still going? I genuinely don't know.
I think so.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yeah. Petra's not. She's long gone.
No, she's not.
That's why she's got a statue.
Yeah, well, next week we'll continue all the absolute bobbins.
Yes,
we'll go easy on the Iglesias. We'll go bigger on
we'll try
lawnmowers and catching and releasing. I've got
Woodpecker
another
facts, all of that stuff. If you've got anything you want to share with us, hello@smithandsniff.com. If you're Kendall Kardashian, you want to come on and talk about brown cars and vintage Range Rovers, we will clear the schedules for that. If not, business as usual next week. Goodbye.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.
So you've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon. What wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise. We've mugs and hats, but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe, and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Cheers, mate. I've actually forgotten to say it. Hang on. I haven't said it for at least a week. My mouth wasn't working.